This is the final stop on Dinobot Park. It is the Volcanicus paddock. Now, guys, you have seen the rest of the Dinobots. Now, hopefully... Oh, wait a minute. There's something over there. What's that? Oh, that's the new card to make Volcanicus amazing in the TCG. That's right, that's Jurassic Punch.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, this is Lee from Bleeped Up Productions. Hopefully you enjoyed that intro. It was a ton of fun to make and a ton of fun just to reenact some Jurassic Park memories. But this video is something a little bit special. It's something we recorded a while back due to this lovely... That's right, coronavirus. And it's my good friend Mike and myself talking about a Volcanicus deck that he built. So hopefully you guys enjoy it, and we'll get straight into this video.
Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to a deck profile video that is going to be edited by our producer Lee, but I'm going to talk you through a deck that I've been working on for a little while. There's a lot of community stuff going on right now with the guys on Vector Sigma doing a lot of play testing and games online. Everything kind of in the UK is kind of stalled. I know Bleeped Up Productions are kind of running down their stock of pre-recorded material. So we've taken the initiative to do what we said we kind of wanted to avoid originally, which was deck profiles. So I've looked at what's going on online. I've seen a lot of decks out there. There's a lot of love for certain characters, Sector being one of them. So see what you guys think. So I'm going to be talking about a Volcanicus deck.
It's Volcanicus, Dinobot Combiner. He is going to kick your ass.
Yes, that's right. You heard me. Wave 2 Dinobots, Volcanicus. In Wave 5, we have the introduction of the Stratagem Jurassic Punch. 1-star card. Gives you bold equal to the difference of the star cost compared to Volcanicus versus the Defender. So that's the start of the deck, and we're going to build around that. Our starting lineup is going to be 9-star Wave 2 Grimlock.
That's right, we have the king of the Dinobots, Grimlock, powerful commander. He is a leader, he's a Dinobot, and he has melee for his keywords through both of these modes. His attack is 4, he has a health of 13 and 0 defense in alt mode, and then when you flip into the bot mode, which is the main thing of this deck I believe, he basically has the same stats but his armor goes up by 1, and he also has the stat, when this attacks, choose a Dinobot you own from outside the game and put this into the KO area in alt mode. Now Mike, obviously this is one of the key cogs of the deck, but I'm not going to spoil it for you, so let's get straight into the next character, mate.
Second person coming in is going to be Wave 2 Swoop.
Okay, so we have Wave 2 Swoop. His keywords in both of his modes are obviously Dinobot, and he's a specialist. He has an attack of 3, a health of 11, and an armor of 1 when he is in alt mode. And when he flips to bot mode, guys, he has an attack of 4, same stats for his health and armor, but he has this in his text box. After this attack, put a battle card you flipped this attack with at least a green pip into your hand. So obviously this is very key, I'm assuming, for like your Volcanicus Enigma or Dinobot Enigma, etc. And what is going to be rounding off the characters for us then, Mike?
We're going to have Slug.
Okay, we have Slug, Slag, however you want to call him. He is going to be the last character, and he's a Dinobot. He's melee in both modes. There is keywords. He has an attack of 3, health of 10, and armor of 3 when he is in alt mode. But in bot mode, he has the same stats, but his text in the box is, when this battles and you flip your first white pip, flip 3 extra battle cards for the white pip instead of 2. So that's pretty awesome. So they're the characters then, Mike. So explain it. Tell us, what's the whole point of this deck then, mate?
So the whole point of this deck is to get to Volcanicus as quick as possible. Otherwise, you are dead as a dodo, and it's not good.
So we've got to get to Volcanicus really quickly. So obviously this is very interesting, this deck. It plays quite interesting. So what do you think about the deck in general? Is it going to be a competitive deck? Is it quite a casual deck? Give us your thoughts.
I don't think this is going to be a earth-shattering win every game deck build, but I think it's going to be a little bit different, a little bit fun. And we'll see what you guys think.
Okay, so we've introduced the characters, so let's move on to the next bit, shall we, guys? We're going to talk about the battle cards. So, Mike, give us a little bit of a background to what really the deck is about, and then we'll explain more about the cards that are in this deck.
So, we are looking at a predominantly blue build, and few other tech cards built in, but so predominantly blue. The deal is almost every single card in this deck is designed to keep Grimlock alive or bring him back. Because if you don't get Grimlock's ability, you can't bring the Dinobots back from effectively out of game or the graveyard or whatever you want to call it, the void. So the whole idea is to get to as many attacks as possible in with Grimlock. And in Magical Christmas Land, the whole idea is to bring enough Dinobots back from Wave 2 that you can form into Volcanicus.
It's Volcanicus, Dinobot Combiner. He is going to kick your ass.
And the really achievable goal with all the untaps, and what you really want to be driving towards, is also pulling through an additional Dinobot from Wave 1 in Sludge. And Magical Christmas Land is form Volcanicus, heal with Sludge, ridiculous amount of health, and then you will just punch everything into oblivion and should win the game. But you've got to get there, and getting there is not easy. So there's a lot of cards in there which you wouldn't normally run, but I'm going to go through them step by step and hopefully explain what they're about. Prior to Wave 5 being mostly revealed, we actually printed off a couple of cards and built this deck and play tested it.
Yeah, I believe as soon as we saw Jurassic Punch, Mike went straight to work, because obviously if you didn't know our channel, guys, Mike is his background was basically he played Dinobots in Wave 1, and then he's moved on to bugs ever since. So Insecticons are his bread and butter right now. But as soon as Jurassic Punch got announced in Wave 5, we went straight to playtesting and we played a little bit of it. So this is why we're doing this deck profile, effectively. So, Mike, can you tell us, is this deck going to be top tier? Is it going to be amazing? What's this deck really going to be all about?
It is not a tier 1 deck. It's a fun deck. But I would be very, very keen for the community to chime in with any thoughts or feedback on the build, or any suggestions for other cards that we could sub in place of certain picks, basically. So, starting off with actions first, we're going to be coming in with 2 Dinobot Enigma, the essential card that allows you to form to Volcanicus. One of the key problems in playtesting with this deck is you've got to keep that card in hand. So if you lose it and you're just about to form to Volcanicus, it's bad times, and it's probably game over. So originally when we built this deck, we ran 1 Dinobot Enigma, but we found that once it got discarded and you had to cycle back through to get it, it was not good. We're running 2 Dinobot Enigma. We're then going to run 3 swap missions. So this is the tap a character, untap a character. So the whole idea with this is that you're accelerating those attacks with Grimlock, so every time he hits, you can pull a Dinobot back into the KO area, which should allow you to get to Volcanicus quicker. Now, in all the games that we did, if you hit an untap of some description and got an extra go with Grimlock's ability, then you got to Volcanicus very, very easily compared to doing it turn by turn by turn. So then we're going to run 3 step forward. So this is a secret action that gives an Autobot of your choice Brave. So the whole idea is that if they declare an attack against Grimlock, you can hopefully send it into somebody else. So then we're going to run 3 security checkpoint. Everyone knows what security checkpoint does. Staple in any blue decks. Really there just for pips. Next card up, we're going to be running 3 Pep Talk, card draw, need cards in hand, without. So a bit of card draw. Might be tempted to swap it out for 2 or 3 scouting, because that's blue-black rather than just blue. But it requires damaging one of my characters to get 2 cards. So I'm not entirely convinced by that. 2 energy transfer, orange pip, one of the later wave cards. Basically, again, just do everything you can to keep Grimlock alive, pulling damage off him and onto somebody else. And then we're going to run into kind of the deck staples here. So we are running 1 counter espionage, new card from wave 5, green-black in pips, designed to target secret actions, cards in hand, and just remove problem cards from the deck and snipe that particular issue out of hand. We're then going to be running 1 reprocess because you need to have some kind of upgrade removal, because otherwise you die to Stunticon Swagger in a bad way, and it's not fun.
Yeah, when we play tested this, guys, I'm just going to butt in. Sorry, Mike. Stunticon Swagger stops Jurassic Punch in its steps. So, like, literally, Stunticon Swagger basically says you can't use bold, you can't use tough. Obviously, the whole gimmick behind Jurassic Punch is you punch as hard as possible. Swagger stops that in its tracks. Unbelievably stops it. So the next card we're going to talk about is Steady Shot. That card is really, really good in this deck. It's a blue and a black icon. You're running 3 of those, I believe, Mike. Wait a minute. I've just decided. Whoa, 1 second. Why am I talking? It's your deck profile. I apologize, Mike. Man, I've just spoiled one of the cards. I apologize. You get straight back to telling us about your deck. I apologize.
3 copies of the one of the higher 5, which is Belligerence. The whole idea is we're going to turn all of our flip into orange when we form to Volcanicus, so that you should be able to 1-punch kill anything that you're running into. We did actually record this already. This is the 2nd recording, and part way through I realised that I'd forgotten to include 2 other cards, so I'm going to include them now, which is good. I Still Function, 2 of. So the whole idea is that if Grimlock gets taken off really early and you haven't got enough Dinobots back to form Volcanicus, you can bring him back, attack in the relevant mode, pull that last Dinobot back, and hopefully get to Volcanicus before you're dead. Equally, it also allows the ultimate magic combo of bringing Wave 1 Sludge back, healing all the damage, and then the game is just yours. So, I think that's 26 actions all in. Then we're going to move on to upgrades. We're running 1 backup beam, just for a bit. We're going to be running 3 nitro boosters, so double black pip, useful for cars only, in terms of pip flips. But the whole idea is here, all of the existing Dinobots that we're starting with, so Grimlock, Swoop and Slug, all have a base attack of 3. So they all benefit from when this attacks, and it's got a attack value of 3 or less, it can untap. So again, we're maximising the untaps that we can get on Grimlock and hopefully pull Dinobots through to get to Volcanicus really quick. 3 Force Field is next up. Obviously, survivability needs to be there, otherwise we're toast. 3 Bravery, again, trying to divert attacks away from Grimlock, somebody else. Hopefully giving us enough of a window to form to the character that we're after. Energon Axe, 2 of, just in there for a bit of damage and a bit of weapons. And then the tech that we've additionally put in after kind of playing around with the playtesting was 1 inverted. So if you can form Volcanicus, if you can heal everything off of Sludge, you should then flip almost all of the deck so that you can draw the inverted, put that on there, and then you don't care if Volcanicus has 0 defense, because at that point they've got to go through something like 55s. Who cares? You take 5 or 6 or 7 big hits and you're still alive and kicking, so it really doesn't matter. At that point you put the inverted on, happy days, job done, game over, thank you very much. So that should be 16 upgrades, total of 42 cards, only because I forgot 2 ISFs.
Okay, so we've got 42 cards in the battle deck. I think that's a very good number. I think it's very strong. how we've been playing this deck has been quite interesting. So I just want to wrap this whole lovely episode up now with your breakdown and your thoughts on the deck. Obviously, throughout this episode so far, you've been saying that it's been a ton of fun to get there, but when it happens, it's really cool. So let's just wrap it up with our your final thoughts about this deck that you've created.
While cool and really great, Wave 5 has introduced a mountain of direct damage cards. So much so that I think there is enough direct damage out there to rain on this deck's parade, because all you do is you pile all of your direct damage into Grimlock to the point where the deck probably can't cope. It can defend really well, but the problem is enough direct damage, sturdy javelins, magnetic dysfunction ray is a good, really good one. Not for this deck, but good for your opponent. Marksmanships, all those things will do you no favours and will eviscerate this deck. So to be honest, I think had Jurassic Punch equivalent been released a set earlier, this deck might have had some game. I think now with the introduction of so much direct damage, I'm not sure it's going to be as consistent as it would have been now we've had all the Wave 5 reveals. Equally, I think there is still some tech to be put into this deck. I'm just looking down my list actually, and I think, silly me, we make mistakes so you don't have to comment. I missed 3 handheld blaster off the list, so again, mainly in there for pips, but forgot to add those in, so apologies. So yeah, going back to survivability and the deck in general, it's fun. I'm not thinking it's going to win everything. If you can pull off all your combos and have draws, you should be able to get to Volcanicus really quick. Once you're there, if it's pretty grim. I was toying around with the whole idea of introducing some kind of daring escape concept in there. I haven't quite figured it out. But yeah, so direct damage concerns me, and I'm trying to figure out a way dealing with it where it won't compromise the rest of the deck. And so rather than drawing an untap to get Grimlock to have a second attack, you're drawing a damage reduction card that's, going to reduce your direct damage and keep you alive. So I would be really keen to see what the community says about tweaks and differences, because this is my build with a bit of play testing, not very much, maybe 3 to 5 games a couple of months ago. I like it, it's cool. I wouldn't run it as a serious deck, I'd run it as a kind of right, I need a break, let's do a thing, just to switch off for a bit and have a bit of fun. But it's got some tech, it's got some gimmicks, it's got a bit of cool fun facts, so it's bringing back a huge combiner that I don't think has seen a lot of.
It's Volcanicus, a sad combiner, it doesn't get much love.
So, that is the deck profile. Really would like to hear your opinions on what you would change and how you would adapt the deck. Maybe you run a different lineup, maybe you run some different actions. I don't know. I'd be interested in any feedback, to be honest. I'm also planning on recording at some point, time permitting, another deck profile to do with Cosmos. Haven't quite figured that one out yet with the new stratagem. I'm kind of on the Cosmos stratagem train quite bad. I just haven't had the time to get around to do it, but at some point in the near future there will be another article, another deck profile while we're still in lockdown. So thanks very much for listening. Thanks very much to Lee for editing this and putting it together, because while I've been talking to you, Lee's had to put this really cool montage together that you're going to see on screen with all these cool shots and all these card images. He's really taken a lot of time out to kind of create hopefully a cool video to go with this audio. But yeah, it's all bonkers nuts right now in the real world. Hopefully you guys can be inspired to build your own Volcanicus deck and we can see some cool builds out there. Keep in touch, keep listening to the content, and we'll have some more stuff for you soon. Thanks very much for listening, guys. Cheers.